Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all my beautiful solar flares and solar flare-ettes. I'm back from my infinity break, although I guess it's not really an infinity since I'm back, but I'm just happy to be back among all my flares and flare-ettes. We're back again with some cafe enchant. So let's get back started. We're on chapter 4. I'm so glad to be back playing this. I hate when life takes you away from the things you really want to do, but when you can get back to those things, isn't it just beautiful? And from what I remember, we're going to go visit, I believe, is it Canus's world or number 2? I'm not sure. The Pale Hand of Death. I think that's more of Canus's world. Let's see. 貧しき者が住む小屋も王者が住まう宮殿もそうただ一切の区別なくカヌス・エスパーダ Yeah, it's Canus's world これからそなたには先代の役目を継いでもらうCanus, is this your mom? Because your mom is hot. Oh, she's the queen. Well, your queen is hot. So そなたは先代と同じ道を歩んでくれるであろうか。それがこの世界を、妖精界メディオを守るためならば、元より我はそのために生まれた身。ならば、朽ち消え果てるその瞬間まで。I just love Canus's unwavering loyalty. Can't find that nowadays. カヌス、そなたの忠誠に深く感謝しよう。これより承知した。ああ。But she cares about you, Canus. That's why. It is very cruel. The moment I stepped into the gate, I immediately felt like I was floating, constantly rising, constantly falling, as if I was inside a pool of water. My body was enveloped and felt a pressure. Suddenly, a rush of wind made rough with sand blew in from my side. It's just, I think, bizarre. That's what I was just saying. Bizarre! Huh? An eerie sound was whispering to me, along with the dry wind grazing my ear. As if seized by the sound, I felt a strange weight on my arms. My body began tilting, and I felt like I was being pulled downward. Bizarre! I didn't know what it was. I felt an extreme chill and threw off the weight in desperation. And then my body became light. I felt like I was being thrown up into space, and bam! Boom! Ping! Hit by the sudden force of gravity, I slammed into something very hard. Ow. My vision was shaky after the impact. I was able to pick up myself somehow. There, the scene I saw was gorgeous. Wow, amazing. Verdant greens and flowers beyond my sight. It's the fairy world. Giant trees that touched the heavens. Is there any titans around? Because this forest looks really familiar. I'm just saying. Roads that stretched endlessly and were colored with light shining through the trees. What is that? It looks like a whale. Looking at my surroundings more carefully, I saw all sorts of mysterious things that I'd never seen before. They were all part of some strange place I never would see back home. It was as if, yeah, I'm in another world. You don't say. I'm in a whole nother world. After they said we were going to the fairy world, another world, but yeah. So wait, that's right. I come back to my senses. My memory of what had just happened before being thrown out here had gotten hazy. That tea party the other day. It all started during a certain part of the conversation we were having.
Soりゃもちろん異世界ですとも。せっかく徒歩0分の好立地なんだし、有効活用しなきゃ損じゃない。それにほら、百聞は一見にしかずって言うし、レッツゴー異世界へってね。
And that was that, a suggestion from Mr. Demon King, who made the whole ordeal sound like a day trip. Well, to them it probably is. With almost no dangerous creatures. So I'm guessing Canus is the dangerous creature there? Beside Canus caught a little off guard from suddenly having to speak.
じゃ、決まりだね。いやー、出発が楽しみだな。
He said you gotta pack some bananas.
バナナとか用意し
So
なくちゃ。
a banana nut muffin sounds really good. Banana pudding sounds good. Banana bread sounds good. Now I'm all banana crazy. Bananas!
なんでバナナだよ。つうか出発っていつだよ。
明朝で良いのではないでしょうか。今日となると今から向かっても大した時間は滞在できないでしょうし。そうね。というかよくよく考えたら俺たちもそこそこ付き合いあるのにお互いの世界って行ったことないもんね。うんうん。彼女もきっと楽しめるし、アンシャンテとしては画期的なイベントじゃない
Huh? You really think so?
ほらほらそこの楽しそうな魔王様。
I was just starting to get caught up in the rush of everyone talking about this trip when, of course, Mr. Buzz Killington pumped the brakes.
そうやって気軽に彼女を異世界に引き込まないでくれるかな。こっちのことを知りたいっつったのはこいつだし、別にいいじゃないか。だとしても何も直接行く必要はないでしょう。さっきも言ったけど人間は脆いんだ。君たちの世界の普通が致命的なことだったなんてのもザラだ。彼女が危険にさらされるのは避けたい。何？あのソーアンさんだって君たちの世界までは干渉しなかったでしょ。
ソーアンはそもそもデブ症でしたから異世界に遠足なんざめんどくせえと言っていた記憶があります。
Oh, Gramps. Dot. I didn't really expect that. The grandpa I always imagined would have dived headfirst into another world. As the excitement in the room grew, Canus clapped his hands.
お前たち盛り上がるのは結構だが、当の本人が面食らっているではないか。行くか行くまいか、それを決めるのは彼女自身だろう。
Heck yeah, I wanna go! But let me wait for my character to say that. Canus's comment causes everyone to look towards me.
ああ、確かに。ごめん。きっと喜んでくれると思って意思確認を怠っちゃった。
What? Oh no, I was honestly interested after hearing everyone talking about it. I reply in a fluster. Maybe talking of his home world was the reason for it, but Canus seemed to become quite pensive for a moment before speaking.
ミシェルの言うこともリンドウの言うこともどちらも正しいと我は考える。我ら人外についての見聞を広め知識を得るためにはまたとない機会だとは思うが、リンドウの言うように危険もまた数多くある。比較的安全な妖精界メディオでさえも人にマスター、それでもあなたは異世界へと渡ることを望むか。
I deliberated for a moment. As Mr. Karu said, I could still learn about other worlds within Enchanté. And the fact that Grandpa never stepped foot into another world might even be more of a reason for me not to go. However, I want to go. It's not like I don't get anxious thinking about going somewhere so unknown, but still, I have to see it for myself. Canus's world and everyone else's too. I want to know more about them. These feelings pushed me one step forward.
そうか。ならばせめてアンシャンテのマスターたるあなたに害がないよう真摯に努めるとしよう。
And after that, Mr. Karu was against the idea until the very end, thinking of my safety. His refusal was overturned by the group. He eventually agreed with the proposition, but only if he was able to join as well. Boy, you just want to go collect data. Alright, let's go. The morning after. Not that morning after. But with our representative Canus leading us, we all went through the gate. And here I am. Welcome. I was in the human world, now I'm here. So this is really Canus's home world, the fairy world, Medio. Another world, y'all. After having to narrow my eyes from the light so bright that poured from the trees. Wow, I'm really in another world. I finally internalized my current situation. I wanted to see everyone's excitement, so I turn around and I'm probably by myself. Huh? There was no one there. I looked around, figuring they would be easy to spot, but I couldn't see anyone around me at all. There was no one, they were nowhere to be found. Not only that, I didn't even see the gate that we had just passed through. Huh? Canus? Mr. Demon King? 2? ... Ignis? Mr. Karu? ... No answer! ... Is this really Medio? I began to lose assurance in that fact. But it was Canus who held the doorknob as we went through the gate. Enchanté's gate still had many mysteries behind it, but there were a few facts that were clear. Though it does connect to countless other worlds, the world you travel to is dependent on who opens the door. That being the case, so long as Canus was the one who opened it, this should definitely be his home world. What do I do? Could something have happened when we went through? Is it possible that this isn't Medio and I'm in a completely different world all alone? The excitement I was just feeling was being painted over with anxiety. No, that can't be. Anyway, calm down, just take a deep breath. There are things I can still do. If I try to walk off somewhere, it's possible I'll get even more lost. Right. I'll wait here just a little bit, and if no one comes, I'll walk just a bit. And checking just in case, I take out my phone, but as I expected, no signal. I waited there for 30 minutes, but didn't see any of them come by. The weather didn't change, and the only thing I heard was the gentle sound of birds singing in a beautiful landscape. All right. I tied a handkerchief I brought to the branch of a very obvious tree near where I arrived. It's better than nothing, I guess. Someone from Enchanté could pass by here, and they might notice it. Thankfully, there weren't many paths that split from here. Even if we did happen to miss each other, no one could miss this handkerchief. Next time I come to an alternate world, I should bring a whiteboard or a notebook or something. I ponder what may or may not come in handy in an unnecessary discourse with myself. Okay, let's get going. Making my decision, I began walking along a path in this strange, distant world. Sometime as I walked on, I squint intermittently toward the sunlight coming through the trees. I looked around this unfamiliar world. I wonder how far this forest, I guess it's more of a grove, goes on for. The flower beds seem to stretch forever. Endless greenery surrounds me. Robust leaves growing above me in every direction resemble a verdant plumage. There are plenty of places in the human world that are full of nature, but then there's that whale-like animal. It's just floating in the sky. Best of all, even as a forest, this place has a feeling so unfamiliar to my world. There was like a tangible purity about it. I'm sure I would have enjoyed this scenery a lot more with everyone else. Unfortunately, I haven't caught a hint of where anyone might be. Maybe I really was tossed somewhere that isn't Medio. I really hope not. Muttering to myself and considering that possibility. In between the rustling of the leaves came the faint sound of laughter. Oh, look at the beautiful fairies! Wafting toward me were creatures small enough to fit in the palm of my hand. With this particular type of thing, I didn't have to wonder if they were human or not. They had pointed ears, translucent bodies, and a pair of shimmering wings on their backs. Even before I stepped foot in this world, they were how I always imagined. Fairies?
不思議なお客さん。変わった格好をしているわね。どこの子なのかしら。
If there are fairies here, then this really has to be Medio. Oh, thank God! At the very least, it seemed like I evaded the worst possible outcome of being completely lost in another world. I was so relieved to see someone, anyone, that I had collapsed and sat on the ground.
急に顔を隠してどうしたの？目が痛いの？それにあなたなんだか悲しそうだわ。
The fairies questioned me, landing on my shoulders and curiously poking at my cheeks. Oh no, I missed it. I hate that. Well, let me save just in case. Right here. Yes. I could speak to them. I'm sorry, I accidentally went past that. But hopefully we'll see it in the replay. I could speak to them without reservation. Once you enter another world, you'll be able to speak its language, and the people will be able to understand you. Mr. Demon King wasn't kidding. Trying to resist the tickling sensation from the hands of these girls, I managed to open my mouth and say something. Oh, I'm sorry. I was just so relieved.
安心？よくわからないわ。ええ、よくわからない。
Oh, well, I got separated from my friends who came here with me. I was trying to find them when...
それは私たちも知ってるよ。
I wonder if I mention Canus if they'll be like frightened or if they'll know and be helpful. Let's see. Oh, I see. Maybe these two don't understand that I'm a human or even what a human is. Well, I came here from another world through a gate. My species is human, but do you even know what that is?
人間？ああ、私知っているわ。
World of rocks and metal.
水の世界でしょ？
Yeah, that's fairly accurate.
女王様が見てみたいって話していたのを聞いたことがあるわ。
The Queen? I wonder who that is.
それじゃあ、あなたは異界からのお客さんなのね。メディオへようこそ。きっと好きになってもらえるわ。
I'm sure I'll like it here too, with you two beautiful ladies. Well, fairies.
おいでおいで、異界のお嬢さん。私たちと一緒に。
I don't know if I want to play with the fairy though.
そうよ。とっても楽しい遊び場があるの。特別にあなたを連れて行ってあげるわ。
Play? I'm searching for my friends, so...
さあ、行きましょう。行きましょう。
Wait! Their little hands pull vigorously at my fingers. What should I do about these two? They're not listening to me. Really? They're like children, just talking about whatever they want. I think if I tried to shake them off me, they might get hurt considering the size of my hand against their small bodies. All I could do was follow the fairies as I was being pulled along. Save just in case, you already know. Alrighty. What finally came into my view was... wow. Crystalline water falling from so high up that the sound was almost violent. Waterfall is an understatement. It's a giant, endless cascade of water.
綺麗でしょ？気持ちいいでしょ？私たちのお気に入りなの。みんな大好きな場所なのよ。
The wind sputters the water spray everywhere. With the water spraying about without end, a large rainbow was drawn across the sky. Taken in by the marvelous, fantastical scene, I stepped forward to take a closer look. Don't fall over myself. ... When I finally came back to my senses, that's right, I'm still lost. I need to find everyone else before I can begin to enjoy how lovely all of this is. This place really is wonderful and all, but I have to find I appealed to the fairies floating gently in the air, or at least I tried.
それじゃ異界のお嬢さん。あなたも飛びましょう。
What? I can fly? Huh? I was nudged gently from behind. Without a moment to ask a question, my body was thrusted up into the air. I looked down and see the bottomless basin of waterfall rushing closer, ready to swallow me whole. I was pushed off. I was fully enveloped in terror before being able to understand that was what happened. Huh? What? No! At this rate, I'll die.
マスター
Within the thick spray of mist, I was able to see the black suit of armor clearly. The figure that was unmistakably a knight reached his arms out and pulled me in. Canus!
遅れてすまぬ。ゆっくりと謝りたいところだが、今はこの状況を切り抜けるのが先決だ。
Get out! The lake is already...
手荒な真似をする。絶対に我の腕を離すな。
As the water began to take over my entire span of vision, I latched myself to his body. Carrying my waist firmly with a single arm, he used his other free hand to unsheath the giant sword and thrust it into the cliff closest to us. My body was subjected to a violent jolt, but the speed we were falling was slowing.
もう大丈夫だ。あとは息を止めて。
Ah, I thought he could fly too. I guess not. Dot dot dot. More dot dot dots. Ugh.
マスター、無事か
I think so. I didn't hit the water too hard, thanks to your protection. Taking me by the hand, Canus guides me to the shore. My clothes were drenched, and I began to wring them out. I take a look around. I can't believe a shoreline like this existed around that basin. It was a beautiful sight, but I couldn't give myself a moment to take in its splendor when the giant waterfall almost killed me. Canus, are you okay? Are you hurt at all?
問題ない。あの程度でどうにかなるほど、やわな鍛え方はしていない。
I see. That's comforting at least. Thank you for saving me. After giving my late thanks, Canus's flame at his neck turns into a color of discomfort.
いや、
Oh,
同胞
blue.
の無礼を謝罪こそすれ。礼を言われることは。
Compatriots? Compatriots? I'm probably saying that wrong. Compatriots. I think that's how it is. Just then, from within the spray of the waterfall, two tiny figures come dancing toward us. The fairies who pushed me off into the waterfall had smiles on their faces. Even now, as we meet again, they seemed like such children.
どうだった？とっても気持ちよかったでしょ？
No, it didn't.
そして綺麗だったでしょ？きっと喜んでくれると思ったの。
What? I should have known that they didn't actually care about my response, despite asking me. But more than that,
カヌスエスパーダが来ちゃったわ。とっても怖い妖精。だから続きはまた今度。
now I'm good playing with you. Making sure not to look toward Canus, they continued to pay attention only to
それ
me.
じゃあお嬢さん、また会えたら遊びましょうね。今度は別の場所に行きましょう。私たちが案内してあげるから。
They laughed and snickered as they flew off, disappearing shortly after. I turned to Canus, expressing my bewilderment. With his hand to his helmet, it seemed like he was about to have a headache.
すまぬ。あの妖精らは本当にあなたに対して悪意など持っていなくてな。純粋に あなたを喜ばせようとただ遊んでいるだけのつもりだったのだ。
That was play?
ああ、精神が幼い妖精たちは人間の脆さをろくに知らない。
Yeah. So instead of it being wild, dangerous little creatures like Ignis and Mr. Demon King, it's fairies that don't quite know their own limits. Well, yeah.
いや、それ以前に自由気ままな性分なのでな。自分がしたいことにしか興味がないのだ。そして好きに遊んだ結果、それが何を引き起こすか考えもせず気にも留めない。
But if anything, if they hadn't pushed me over, I don't think I would have been able to find the rest of my fellow cafe tenants so easily. Oh, I see. They're children. They're kids who just want to play. Considering how strong they were, having that kind of innocence is it terrifying? I'll say is a bit terrifying. A shiver ran down my spine as I imagined what might have happened if Canus hadn't come. Yikes. After spending a few minutes with Canus, the old group I was so desperate to find finally gathered.
カヌスがいきなり駆け出した時は何事かと思ったけど、君が無事でよかったよ。
イグニス、もう少し炎を強めては彼女の体が冷えてしまいます。
俺は焚き火代わりかよ。たく、まあ今回は特別だ。とっとと服乾かせ。
Stop, Ignis. You know you want to get my body warm. Okay, thanks. I bring my body closer to the fire that Ignis made at a safe distance, of course. I guess this is another sort of strange power of non-humans. My soaking clothes slowly began to dry with the help of his flame.
けど本当によかった。君がいないって気づいた時、僕は心臓が止まるかと思ったよ。
I'm sorry to make you worry, Mr. Karu and everyone. By the way, did you all come out at the same place?
我が普段から使っているゲートの前に無事集まっていたな。
So if everyone else got through the gate normally except for me, so me being separated like that isn't something that normally happens? I heard a strange noise when I went through, and I felt as if I was being pulled away.
音ですか？
詳しく聞かせてくれる？
From when I stepped foot into the gate until I was thrown out into the fairy world, everyone listened with serious expressions on their faces as I explained what happened.
妙だな。ゲートは幾度も利用しているが、今までそんな現象が起きた覚えはない。
俺もねえな。妖精界は接続が不安定とか、そういう話じゃねえのか。
まさか、そのような危険があれば、とっくに皆へ話している。
Some spirit is after me.
GPM でも報告例がない現象だね。
彼女が人間だからでしょうか？
いや、それも考えづらいね。だってそれなら、普段から異世界探索を仕事にしてるうちの調査班は。
Mr. Demon King, do you know why this might have happened?
俺にもわからないけど、一つ言えるのは、今後もし君が通ることがあれば気をつけた方がいいってことだね。誰かと手をつないで入るとか警戒するに越したことはないと思う。
Right. At the end of our conversation, we were no closer to knowing what was the cause. The eerie noise, that terrifying sensation of being pulled away somewhere. I didn't want to feel that ever again.
にしても、お前といい俺らといい、こっちに来てから災難続きだな。
Huh? Did something happen with all of you too?
お前ほどの不運じゃねえけどよ。
どうもイグニスや私は こちらの世界では本来の力が出せないようでした。
Wow, even you two? You're an angel though. This is the fairy world. I mean, not to say that angels are fairies, but I mean, I would think they're somewhat similar. Huh? Once he finished, I looked over to Ignis. It didn't seem like there was much difference with number 2, however. Huh? Ignis, is it me or is the flame around your body weaker? Ignis gave me a disgruntled frown as I made my observation known.
異世界同士の交流。僕も報告書では見たことがあったんだけど、どうも人外たちは自分の故郷以外の異世界に来ると若干弱体化しちゃうみたいなんだ。
That makes sense. Whoa, really? I glanced toward Mr. Demon King.
あははは。俺は例
Oh,
外。
why? Because you're like a demon god or something? Or demon king? Demon king god?
世界の垣根すら超える最強チートな魔王様ってね。
Oh,
ど
wow.
んな世界も楽勝で壊滅だぞ。
僕としては君に一番おとなしくなってほしかったよ。
また当然ながらメディオを故郷とする我は従前の力を発揮することが
Let's see it, Canus. Let me see that full strength of yours. Canus moves his body, producing the tough, steadfast sounds of a mighty suit of
本
armor.
来ならば我の足の速さはイグニスに劣るのだ。
Oh, snap. Here we go. Superman versus the Flash. Who's faster, Canus or Ignis?
速攻で置いてかれたぜ。くそ、こんなんじゃ喧嘩売られても思う存分暴れられねえじゃねえか。
I feel like you shouldn't be visiting other worlds trying to fight people. But it made sense to me. It's why Canus was the one who was able to rush over to me first.
私は少々飛びづらくなった程度ですので、そこまで不便はしていません。
You got 4 wings and you've been hindered though?
やはり原因は世界を構成する物質や循環エネルギーが異なるせいでしょうね。
I tilt my head in response to the odd choice of words that came from 2. Canus and Mr. Demon King followed up with some more information to clarify.
俺たちのアスモディアでいうところの魔力かな。マナとも呼ばれるけど、わかる？
Oh yeah, that's what people in games and stuff use as a source of power for spells, right?
ささ、魔界や魔族はその名の通り、魔力で世界やその身を構築するんだけど、メディオの場合、魔力とは違う別の力が世界を支えるエネルギーなんだよね。
Canus gives a single nod.
とはいえ明確な故障はないがな。自然の恩恵がそのまま世界を安定させていると考えるべきか。
ベスティアには多分んな小難しいもんなんて存在しねえぞ。特に意識したことねえけどよ。
であれば、イグニスの場合はエネルギーがある環境に不慣れなのでしょう。例えるのならば、濃密すぎる空気に参っているのでは？
ああ、そりゃあるかもな。ここに来てからずっと甘ったるい匂いがしてて、胸焼けしてるみてえなんだよな。
Ooh, a sweet smell. I don't know why, but I think of some honey barbecue when I think of a sweet smell. I see.
しかし例外的に人間界ではあまり能力が劣ることはない。不思議なものだな。
まあまあ、そのあたりの原因究明は置いといて、ちょっと真面目な話をしようか。さっきは不運が重なったこともあるけど、異世界の危うさは理解できた。
Oh, yes, Dad. Yes, Dad.
比較的安全、そう言われるメディオだってこれなんだ。僕たち人間の常識は何一つ通じやしない。異世界を知るという意味なら、 それを理解しただけ。
Oh no, not time to go back already. I wanted to see Canus's full strength. I wanted to see the race between Canus and Ignis. No!
もうアンシャンテに帰らないかい？
Not yet. Dot.
危険な目に遭わせた身としては反論的。あなた
Hopefully I don't say I don't want to go back. They all seemed to wait for my word as I was seen as a victim in all that happened. No one spoke. It was silent. It really was a terrifying experience. If Canus hadn't made it in time, I honestly believe I could have died. Knowing I could run into more fairies like those two out in our travels, just the thought. As beautiful as the scenery around me was, it was equally terrifying. Oh darn, I'm gonna go back. Grandpa himself always stayed at Enchanté. He never left to visit another world. Being the new owner of the cafe doesn't mean I need to visit my patrons' worlds. And yet, I'm sorry. I was apologizing, but it wasn't for what had happened. I want to stay a little longer. Yay! We get to stay and visit the world more.
それはまたどうして？
Well, if I leave right now, the trip will end with me thinking that Canus' homeworld is scary, and I just don't want that. Also, the only reason I had that experience was because I was alone. If everyone else stayed with me, I'm sure my impression of this place would change.
リンド、君が彼女と同じ感性を持つ人間だっていうのなら、友人の故郷を悪い思い出だけで埋めたくないって彼女の気持ちは。
それは。
それに危険だったと言ってもやや高所から落下しかけただけでは？
No, it was dangerous. Talking about I had a little fall. I ain't got 4 wings like you, bruh.
いや、それだけではないが。
また先のような強制隔離では致し方ないのかもしれませんが、こうして我々が揃っている以上、彼女に危険が及ぶという事態はそう。
Number 2.
つまり箱入りが言いてえのは、俺たちが全員揃ってりゃ危険もクソもねえだろって話だ。カネス、お前だってそうだろ。自分がそばにいるなら同じような目には合わせねえだろ。
ああ、当然だ。我がそばにいる限りは必ず守りきると保証しよう。
Canus looks right at me as he speaks. Canus, thank you.
こちらこそ我が故郷を理解しようとしてくれて礼を言う。あなたが望むのならば引き続きこの世界を案内するとしよう。
Canus bows his head deeply in respect, with his whole body leaning forward. Putting his hand to his chest and giving his pledge, he was the perfect image of a loyal knight. Eventually, Mr. Karu was also persuaded to come along as well, so we would continue our journey in Medio. But we would first need to choose a meeting place in case we got separated again. We walked to Medio's gate, which I missed earlier since I was separated from the group. If our group gets split up again, I just need to come back to this spot. Knowing that makes me rest easy. Wow, there really is a gate here. It looked like a painting, seeing the gate standing in the woods. I wasn't sure, but it almost looks like the one at Enchanté. Actually, it looks exactly like it.
カエルムにあるのも全く同じデザインですね。
ベスティアもだな。
I see. These gates connect us to the other worlds. I understand how amazing they are now, having gone through one myself. It's still a mystery what they really were. What I do know, however, is that they are very rare, such that only one exists in every alternate world. The gates of the worlds where the regulars come through all connect to Enchanté. Yet gates in other worlds connect to places other than the human world, so reports say from the GPM. Why there are several in the human world, yet only one in each alternate world? Also, why these gates in particular are fixed to only go to the human world? Investigations on this are inconclusive. The gates seem to be unknown to non-humans aside from Mr. Demon King and the group, and because of this, other non-humans haven't used them. As I was contemplating these curious things, running through reasonings I've overheard,
ではここを起点とし進むとしよう。
After deeming this the meeting spot, we set off. With Canus leading the way, we entered the forest once again. Wow, this area is so different from where I was. The spot I was in seemed much more level.
ってことはやっぱり俺たちとはかなり離れた場所に放り出されて
通りでマスターを探知するのに時間がかかったわけです。
ミラ、足元に気をつけてくれ。この辺りは道が細い。
Watching my steps after his warning, the eerie sound of wind getting sucked into the valley below batted at my ears. I'll be careful.
ま、仮に落ちても3回に1回は
He said 1 out of the 3 times. I hope you'll save me the other 2 times too, please. I'm sure if I fall even once, I'll be headed straight into the afterlife, though.
リンドウの場合は追加で有料な。
僕だけ冷遇しすぎじゃない？
I took a moment during our playful chatter to look at the scenery above me. Flower petals were dancing in the wind, seemingly full of life, grazing the branches. Wow, if it wasn't so dangerous, Medio would be such a serene and gorgeous place. As I was lost in thought, Canus stops.
ちょうどいい時間だな。そのまま見ているといい。面白い光景が見られるぞ。
Interesting? Something odd began to happen around me. Hopefully it's not that whale-like creature. The seasons were changing instantly. I was speechless as the trees around me began changing colors one after the other.
おー、すごいすごい。
葉が一斉に変化を。これはどのような仕組みで？
このメディオと人間界では時の流れがいささか異なっている。
So it's just instantaneous like that?
春夏秋冬。メディオという世界は朝につぼみが開き、昼には葉がより青く染まり、
Wow.
夕方に紅葉を迎え。
なるほど。人間界の1年をわずか1日で繰り返してるってことかな。
It's winter every night. That's so tight. I wish that could happen in real life. All 4 seasons happening in one day.
では夏の流星が見て取れる今は昼に近い時間というわけですね。
Oh, wow. The fairies were evidence enough that this place was completely abnormal, but time flows here in a way that makes an entire year pass by in the matter of a day. Fairies lived among the twisting branches in the trunk at the center. This feeling of wonder keeps sinking in as I walk. The fact that this world is one that doesn't follow the conventions of my own.
メディオを満喫しているようで何より。
Oh, who's that?
あなたが客人を連れてくるとは正直驚いていますよ。
Oh, is this the
カ
queen?
ヌス・エスパーダ。
Canus Espada. I hear the sounds of leaves being crushed. Standing there was a figure with androgynous features, who didn't seem to belong to either gender. However, their beauty was completely ruined by the expressions showed. They seemed ready to express how disgusted they were feeling.
ようこそいらっしゃいました。見知らぬ世界からのお客。僕は妖精女王に仕える宰相のベンニーガ。あなた方の来訪を歓迎します。
Oh. So one of the servants under the queen.
おい、あいつ今舌打ちしたぞ。
歓迎だそうです。どうやらこの方は私たちに友好的なようですね。
いやいや、絶対違うから。こんなに嫌そうな歓迎します。僕聞いたことないよ。
いいえ、そんなことはありません。歓迎します。しますとも、表面上は。
On the surface, but deep inside, I hate you all and I wish I could kill you, is the sentiment I gather.
たとえあなた方がどう見てもうさんくさい色物の集団であろうとも、女王陛下の命令である以上、しっかりと歓迎いたしますよ。
あははは、絶対嘘じゃん。面白いなこの子。
It was an oppressive scene. Everyone looked like they were at a loss of what to do. It was Canus who finally spoke out to them.
ベニーが女王の命令とは。
そのままの意味ですよ。女王陛下が異世界からの客人に会いたいと大変血迷ったことを言っておられるので、僕がここに来た次第です。
They're from the same world, and I was sure they knew one another. Vanina's shoulders droop as Canus asked his questions. Her Majesty the Queen? That's right. Those fairies from the waterfall also mentioned something about the Queen. Oh, so would you say that Medio is under the rule of a monarchy?
この妖精界メディオは妖精女王と呼ばれる者が全ての妖精を束ねているのだ。
つまりその女王様から直々のお誘いってこと？
だからそう言っているでしょう。言語の理解力か頭の中身に致命的な問題でもあるのですか？
There goes that sharp tongue.
なんだろう、ものすごく心が痛いな。
Yeah, they speak with elegance, but what they actually say is
というこ
horrible.
とで、誠に勝手ながら僕についてきていただけますか？
Everyone turns their gaze towards me. I know they want me to make a decision, but what should I do? Follow? Don't follow? Any, many, money, mo. Oh, don't follow. Don't follow then. I really don't know. My experience with those fairies was awful. They invited me along in the same way. And most of all, Vania isn't exactly making it settle that they want us to decline. I'm the timid coward, Renoni Awaki. I just didn't have the courage to just say, yes, I want to go, especially with the looks that were being given to me. I really am honored by the invitation, but we have business to attend to. Please allow us to visit at another time. As I replied ever so timidly, Vania's soldiers seemed to perk up.
素晴らしい。素晴らしい英断です。僕個人としては理想の回答だ。どうやらあなたはどこぞの黒騎士とは違い、空気を読めるお方のようですね。
Although the words spoken still had some thorns to them, I sensed a satisfied look on Vania.
おや、なんだか君の反応をものすごくお気に召したみたいだね。
つまりどうあっても俺たちを連れてくのがめんどくせえんだろ。
Dang, I actually wanted to go though. Maybe next time I'll see what happens.
なので、僕的にはぜひそのままお帰りくださいと賛成したいところ。
Vania suddenly begins to speak with an honest sadness.
残念ながら、心から残念ながら、そういうわけにはいかないのです。女
Why?
王陛下から命令されている以上、
Well, there was no point to me picking the answer then.
僕には選択権がないのですよ。ですので、繰り返すようですが、案内をしますので、誠に勝手ながら、僕に
In the end, totally drained of all happiness, Vania begins walking away listlessly. Vania showed us the way, but I could really tell that they detested doing it. In any case, following Vania's lead, we proceed further into the woods. Here comes wintertime. The temperature had dropped suddenly. Medio was hinted. I didn't get to read all of it. Darn it, I hate when that happens. I go too fast. My apologies. Medio was tinted in a crimson sunset hue. There we go. As the sun continued to set, we traversed steep slopes and crawled over wooden walls, barely getting by after the others continued to help me. Oh, look at the little queen. Vania suddenly stops.
さて、
All
着きま
right,
したよ。
we're here. Even though she said it, I'm gonna say it too.
たく、やっとかよ。現状までに歩いた距離などを試算すると、かなりの高層階と見ましたが、メディオの建築技術は独特なのですね。
森の散策っていうより山登りって感じだったね。明日筋肉痛じゃないといいな。
ほんと、ここまでだいぶ歩かされたね。体力とか体調は平気？
Okay, I think. Though my legs feel like sticks right now. Taking Mr. Demon King's hand to support myself, I took a second to manage my breathing.
こう言ったらなんだけど、僕たちを連れて行くのが嫌すぎて諦めるのを。
失礼な。ここ妖精界メディオには、当然ながら妖精でなければ本来通れない場所が多くあるのです。それをあなたたちの都合に合わせて誘導して差し上げたのですから、むしろ感謝していただきたい。
Well, thank you. Now that I finally caught my breath, I took a look around where we were. There, I couldn't quite tell what this place was we were in inside the fairy world. The space we entered seemed like there was just a large hole gouged out especially for it. It was a strange place with large flowers blinking with light strewn about. The scenery outside should look like fall if I remember correctly, but this space alone looked like spring. As I was looking around,
マスター、女王に紹介しよう。こちらへ。
with Canus pulling my hand, we proceed to the center of the open space. And there,
そなたたち
in a gentle wafting breeze made with this girl's smile, it felt like the air surrounding us became infinitely sweet. It was like a throne of flowers.
妖精女王、ティターニアよ。
Queen
彼
Titania.
女がアンシャンテのマスター、ソーアン殿の孫娘だ。
In these gorgeous surroundings was enthroned a small queen, much smaller than what I had imagined.
よう来たな。わしの名はティターニア。この妖精界メディオにて女王を務めておる。
Oh, so cute.
会えて嬉しく思うぞ。アンシャンテのマスターよ。
The little girl laughs cutely in a snicker. She looked as young as a child in grade
ご挨
school.
拶を。
It's nice to meet you. Canus always takes good care of me at Enchanté. I'm Renona Yawaki. I had no idea how to greet her properly. Not only were we in an alternate world, but I was in front of royalty too. I pitched forward as far as I could, bowing deeply for an eternity.
お世話されておるのか。それはまた面白い話を聞いた。
いや、決してそういうわけでは。
なんじゃなんじゃ。ずいぶんとよそよそしいの、カヌスや。
I raised my head and assumed that Canus is being teased in this conversation. He doesn't seem pleased about that.
後ろの者たちもカヌスより話には聞いておるぞ。皆個性豊かな客人たちなのだとな。
少々豊かすぎる気もしますがね。魔王に打天使、魔獣に中年。
An old
ま
man.
とまりのない者たちです。
あれ、
Right.
僕の略称だけおかしかったよね。
His face. Mr. Karu's comment was ignored by Vania. As Mr. Demon King stood next to me, he asked Titania a question. Is that the sister ship of the Titanic? Oh no, I think it was Olympus. I'll get back to you on that.
それで女王様は俺たちのことをいろいろご存知みたいだけど、ここに俺たちを呼びつけた理由は、インギン無礼で面白いそこの子からは特に理由とか聞いてないんでね。
Mr. Demon King, she's a queen. You should speak a bit more politely to her. Just a bit.
そこ気にする。というか忘れてるかもだけど、一応俺も王様だから
True. So it's not like he has to talk, you know, like he's under her though. They're pretty much on equal playing grounds. Watching me in my panic scolding Mr. Demon King, the Queen Titania snickers in a laugh that sounded like a ringing bell.
いやいや、自然な口調で構わぬよ。異世界の者に権力も何もあるまい。では質問に答えるとしよう。来てもらったのは他でもない。
話ですか？
さようじゃ。あのカヌス・エスパーダが友人と呼ぶ面々がこの世界に来た。となれば挨拶の一つもしたくなるのは当然の流れじゃろ。
Titania quickly glances at Canus. However, Canus just continues to watch over us, not responding in any way.
まあ、それを別としても、メディオはめったに客が来ないこともあり、来ればもてなすものと決まっているのです。好奇心旺盛な妖精たちにとって、異世界の話というのは最
マジかよ。てめえの態度はもてなすって
Right.
程遠いもんだった気がするんだが。
そんなバカな。僕としては誠心誠意のおもてなしをしましたが。
あれが精神誠意。戦慄だな。
ということでな。もし時間が許すのであれば、ぜひそなたたちの話を聞かせてほしい。
なるほど。それなら俺は特に反対する理由もないし、彼女がいいと言えば構わないよ。
I look toward everyone before speaking. Everyone either shrugs or looks away, uninterested, leaving it up to me. Glancing around at everyone, I open my mouth. Alright. From Titania, how do I put it? Although her appearance was youthful, there was a sweetness she exuded. I didn't feel the teeniest bit of ill will towards us. Most of all, she was kind. She was just simply kind. Even in this unpredictable world, I've been able to hold a nice conversation with her. I felt she was simply just a good person who I'd like to get to know better. We can answer what we're able to, although it may not be much.
そうか。ではしばし待っておくれ。
Oh, hopefully she doesn't turn out to be evil. I mean, this is the fairy world, but they can turn nasty really quickly. She must really want to talk with us. With a smile on her face, she nods and everything around us begins to shake. Rumble, rumble, rumble. What's going on? As if responding to Titania, several small branches grew out from the walls and floors. the innumerable branches twisted together, changing their shape. The area around the center of the room became adorned with new furniture, with a huge long table and several chairs appearing around us. Wow! Amazing! Or in Japanese you would say, sugoi! Or hantoni sugoi! Which is really amazing.
これは興味深い力ですね。私やミシェルが行使するものとはだいぶ異なるようですが。
そうであろうな。ティターニアは木の力を借りているだけに過ぎぬ。
So, does that mean that she can manipulate plants at will? Please don't be poisonous. Canus nods in affirmation.
さあさあ、お客人よ。好きな席に着くといい。それぞれ喉でも潤しながら、おのおのの話を聞かせておくれ。
I really like this song. It's so peaceful. With her offering, we move to the seats closest to us. However,
潤しながらっつってもコップの中身空じゃねえか。
Ignis, calm your redhead ass down. Excuse me. A disgruntled Ignis picked up a wooden cup that was placed on the table. But he really did check that it was empty when he picked it up. He flipped it over.
ははこれはつまりあれだ。霞でも食べてろ的な。
そんなわけがあるまい。妖精は基本的に食事をせぬものじゃが、客人に茶を出す文化ぐらいはあるぞ。
As Titania spoke in a faint smile.
あら、さっきのお嬢さん。さっきはごめんなさい。女王様からたくさん怒られちゃった。
So now you understand I could have died. Huh? Oh, it's you two. My body suddenly froze, but watching them bow so sincerely, I felt like I needed to forgive them. Maybe this is just a human sentiment. I'm sorry too for not explaining to you what humans are. If we get a chance again, I hope we can do something safe. After we're all done talking here, of course.
わかった。わかったわ。次は何をして遊ぼうかしら。
Something that doesn't involve killing me? I've got a bad feeling. Did they really get what I was trying to say? Along with arcs of light, many other fairies came into the room. They take several of the flowers blooming around us in hand and fly toward me.
どうぞ。甘くてとっても美味しいのよ。
They began to tilt their flowers over and they began to fill our cups with nectar.
さて、大したもてなしもできぬが、歓迎しよう。異界からのお客人。妖精界メディオの宴。どうかゆるりと楽しんでいくといい。
The room echoed with laughter of the fairies, and the petals were dancing about. As the petals fall to the floor, they rise up again and continue to move up and down, that way as if having minds of their own.
よければおかわりをどうぞ、お嬢さん。ねえねえ、人間界ってどんなところ？暑い？寒い？狭い？広い？
So the human world, it's a fairy banquet. It's something you might see in a fairy tale, but actually being here in one, only words of awe come to mind. You can't help but just be captivated by the glittering fairies no matter how many times you look at them. I lost track of time, continuing the banquet with fairies flying about as they pleased. After the fairies probed us for a while, the conversation slowed down a bit. Continue talking, or I'm gonna sip my drink. My jank. I quietly take a sip from the wooden cup and a sweet scent runs through my nose. That's so good. It was easy to drink as if it were mixed with maple syrup and honey. I felt my cheeks melt at this flavor unknown to my human palate. I wonder if I could use this in a drink. To put it in coffee would be difficult, but maybe there are other ways to use it. Yeah, put it in that coffee with tea and honey and lemon. That'd be so good. Tea? No, I don't think you should put tea in coffee. So just coffee with honey and lemon. Yeah. One of those.
ならば牛乳と組み合わせて蜂蜜ラテにするのはどうでしょう。
honey
私は
latte.
ぜひ飲んでみたいです。
けど採用されたら毎日カヌスにこれを運んでもらわないとだけどね。
Oh, number 2, Mr. Demon King. Are you two done already? You were surrounded by fairies just now.
天使と魔族の組み合わせがとても珍しく映ったようでして大変な質問攻めに遭いました。
1個質問に答えると10個追加されるんだもんな。
With a smile, I extend out my cup and the two bring theirs in for a toast. With the pleasant sound of the wooden cups meeting each other, I narrow my eyes. Seeing a scene like this really makes it feel real to me, as if it wasn't already, that this really is another world. It's not just the people or the setting, the atmosphere itself is the most different. Ignis mentioned it before, but it's thick. Sweet?
ああ、昼に話したエネルギーの話だね。イルにも多少影響があるみたいだし、ここでイルが力を使ったら光とかじゃなくて花が降り注いじゃったりするかもね。
ミシェルの場合はすべての草木を腐食させそうですね。
I'm sure number 2 meant no harm, but that image was a bit much. So then are the mysterious powers you two use not actually magic?
むしろ正反対ですね。
魔力同様、科学では未だ解明されていない異世界にある未確認の元素たち。人外の一部はその元素を利用して超常事象を引き起こすんだけどね。イルが使うのは理論と計算を重ね、天へ祈りを捧げることで行使する、天使特有のご利益あふれる光の砲術。
So he uses his power of the persona.
対してミシェルが使用するのは定義が存在しない個人の知識と魔力で術式を組み、
The two nod at each other as the other explains the power they employ. It was a bit difficult to
わか
understand.
りやすく言うと、イルが使うのは緻密な計算に基づいた術で、
ミシェルのは大雑把ななんかすごい力ですかね。
Oh, I see. The explanation seemed oversimplified, but it was direct and understandable for someone like me.
世界ごとに力の定義も違うし、呼び方や形がバラバラなわけだから、一朝一夕で理解なんてできないしさ。違うものなんだぐらいの知識でいれば十分だと思うよ。
いずれ私の砲術を披露する機会があるかもしれませんし、比較してみるのもいいかもしれませんね。
Okay, I will. We all spent our time just as we wanted, including myself. Oh, in a corner of the hall I saw Canus leaning against a wall and watching our festivities. Canus, I felt like I haven't seen much of you this past short while. I didn't know you were over there.
あなたか。宴は楽しめているだろうか。
Yes, very much. The hall is so beautiful and the nectar from the flowers is so delicious. And I feel like I've been able to let go of my fear of the fairies bit by bit.
そうか。ならば何よりだ。
Kana seemed to sigh under his helmet. Looking at his hands, he also wasn't holding a wooden cup. Huh? Canis, have you actually been over here the whole time?
我があの場に混じっては空気が悪くなるだろうからな。
sour the mood? Sure, Canus wasn't the most talkative type, but he always took part in Enchant's tea parties, and it's not like he doesn't do well with these kinds of events.
マスター
What is it? I was so lost in thought that my response was
どう
late.
やらティターニアがあなたを呼んでいるようだ話し相手になってはくれまいか
After his comment, I looked down the hall to see. My eyes locked with hers as Titania sat on a throne of flowers, giving me a gentle smile.
カヌスと話していたというのにすまぬな。しかしどうしてもそなたと二人きりで
As I slowly walk toward her, Titania greets me with a smile like a blossoming flower, a bit of a distance away from us. This person, standing there motionless, was the one who called themselves her chancellor, Venia. That silence is spooky, but first I should talk to Titania, who called me over. I just want to thank you for welcoming us so graciously. I truly appreciate it, and I apologize for not greeting you sooner.
そうかしこまるな。そして最初に言うたであろう。自然な口調で構わぬと。あの魔王相手でも敬語抜きで話しておるではないか。わしにも同様に接してほしい。
Are you sure? She looks small, but the way Titania expresses herself has a regality to it that is undeniable.
もちろん様付けもいらんぞ。ついでにベンニーヤのことも適当に呼ぶとよい。わし。
Venia clearly slumped their shoulders, likely hearing what she just said. Okay, then Titania?
やはり同じ女とに親しく呼
Oh,
ば
I
れるのは
love the
嬉しいもの
queen.
じゃな。
She's so awesome. Titania nods, satisfied and smiling, and my anxiety had melted away.
カヌスはアンシャンテでうまくやっているかの？
Yes, I was a bit surprised at his appearance when I first met him, but I'm completely used to it now. He's a very honest and caring person, liked by plenty of other humans.
そうか。ならばよい。淡き宗安といったか。亡くなったというそなたの祖父ともども。
Gratitude?
あの店に行くようになってからカヌスは随分と丸くなったからの。そなたが継いでからの日常もこと細かく聞いておるぞ。
Ah, that might be embarrassing. I hope he doesn't go into too much detail about all of my failures in particular.
許してやっておくれ。それだけカヌスにとってあの店で過ごす時間は色濃く、そなたのことを語る時も随分と優しい声色をしておる。
I see. I'm still just a half-baked cafe owner, but I was proud to continue protecting a place that Canus cherished enough to talk about with so much with others.
少しばかりこちらへ来てはくれぬか？
Okay. I walked with her just as she
そ
asked.
なたたちの大切な場所を。
Oh, the queen wants to visit my
アン
place.
シャンテという場所をわしに。
I suddenly realized her small hand was grazing my cheek. And Titania's face slowly closes in on mine, and with a small bump, our foreheads touch with each other. With a bright light and a sweet scent, my consciousness was taken somewhere else completely. There's someone there, sitting in front of Grandpa. A really big person, someone with real hard-looking clothes on.
そうアンドロ
なんだよ。エスプレッソが冷めちまうからとっとと飲め。
いや飲みたいのは山々なのだが店の奥から視線を感じるのだ。あの柱の陰に隠れている 小さな生き物は
はあ、生き物だ？なんだよ、うちにはネズミなんて。あ、そうか。お前人間の子供を見るのは初めてか。
子供。今度はテーブルの下に隠れてしまったが。
逃げられちまったか。まあお前は
No necked
その
armor.
首なし状態と全身の鎧をなんとかしねえとな。あれだ、鎧に合わせてよ、適当に兜でもかぶればいいんじゃねえか。それこそ騎士っぽいじゃねえか。
兜をかぶることにあまり意義を感じぬのだが、それがこの世界の断りならばそうし。
おお。ん？いや、なんか物騒になっただけな気もするが、まあいい。
Grandpa looks like he's having fun. Is that big person having fun too?
どうしたよ。
そうか。あれが人間界の子供。生まれた瞬間から性質も可能性も決められている我ら妖精とは、素晴らしいな。あの魂からは無限の可能性を秘めた輝きを感じる。
Is that person Grandpa's customer too?
またこちらを見ている。その、
ははは。お前は子守に向いてねえな。
Yeah, I have to say hi. In a snap, the world around me changes back. As I blinked my eyes, the image of Titania's gentle smile became clear before me.
しつけにすまぬの。わしとしたことが少々はしゃいでしまったようじゃ。
Huh? Did you do something, Titania? I felt like my mind went blank. It didn't feel like anything really happened. But Titania didn't respond to
場
me.
所なのじゃな。アンシャンテという場所は。
She closed her eyes as she muttered softly, but I noticed. Titania, it's almost like you're a parent worrying about their child.
それはつまり、わしがカヌスの親のようだと？
Right. Well, I suppose if I judged you by your looks, it would be the opposite. Sorry, was that rude of me to say? Titania laughed, shaking her head.
いや、気にすることはない。あながち間違ってはおらんからの。わしはすべての妖精を見守る存在じゃ。事実、カヌスが生まれた時から、わしはその生き様を見守ってきた。
I really wonder how old she is. What? You're older than Canus?
妖精に年はあまり関係ないがの。そして、わしが長生きというよりも、カヌスが妖精の中でもかなり若い方なのじゃ。
Huh? So does that mean... Does that include those small fairies too?
すべてではないが、中にはカヌスの倍以上生きているものもおるじゃろうな。
What a difference. Titania watches me, pleased as I react to every little thing she says. However, all of a sudden, a shade cast upon her adorable smile.
だからこそ、わしはカヌスのすべてを見てきた。それこそ、あやつの嘆きも苦しみも。
Titania?
いや、すまぬ。昔のことを話していたら、少々感傷に浸ってしまってな。どうかこれからも。
You can count on me.
あ、見えたあやつは、いわゆる寂しがり屋というやつじゃからな。
Okay, I can do that, but Canus really gets lonely?
少々茶目っ気を含めて言うただけで、あやつが孤独を嫌うのは事実じゃ。叶うならば、わしもそばにいてやりたいが。
Titania speaks in a saddened smile and taps her feet lightly. You mean because of your role
であ
here?
ればよかったのじゃが、物理的にな。
Oh,
わ
that
しは
sucks.
この場を動くことができぬ。妖精女王というのは
So you're just
そういう
tethered
も
to
のなのじ
the
ゃ。
to Medio. I asked my question nonchalantly and was surprised by her reply. The queen became one with the throne, bound to it for the rest of her life. No way.
すまんな。余計な話であった。それに、これは名誉なことでもある。そな、
Titania smiles. It's true, she doesn't seem necessarily crestfallen by the situation. Hey, Titania, is it okay if I come back? I'll bring some coffee from Enchanté. I'd like you to try some. Maybe taste some of Canus's favorites.
もちろんじゃ。いつでも歓迎するぞ。
Yay! I'm welcome anytime in Medio. The queen of the fairy world, Medio, was far more than the child she appeared to be. She was in fact a dazzling, splendid woman. I continued to talk with Titania. After our conversation ran its course, I returned to where she met me. Huh? Canus isn't here.
カヌスなら会場から出て行きましたよ。おそらく。
Vania spoke from behind as they had followed me here. He won't? How
不
come?
吉だからです。
Darn. I figured that's why the other fairies avoided him. What? After expressing my confusion, Vania further explained in a dark, ominous
黒騎士
tone.
カヌス・エスパーダ。別名を死を告げる妖精。彼はあまたいる妖精の中でただ一人死を司り象徴するもの。
So he's basically a fairy grim reaper.
あらゆる妖精が恐れる不吉の象徴。故に本来は祝いの席には姿を見せません。
I wasn't fully able to take in what they meant, and my mouth was agape. An ill omen? The fairy of death?
でも残念。カヌス・エスパーダが来ちゃったわ。とっても怖い妖精。だから続きはまた今度。
I remember the fairies that ran away as Canus arrived. That's right. There was something similar in one of the books Grandpa left. Dullahan, a fairy with the appearance of a headless knight found in the Irish folklore. Arriving in a carriage pulled by a headless horse, he leaves only after someone's death. The Dullahan in the book was illustrated so menacingly. Although how it differed from Canus, I guess I never really paid attention. So that means he removed himself because other fairies are afraid of him?
ええ、そういうことです。そもそも祝いの席でなくとも僕や陛下以外に他の妖精とは言葉を交わすことすらないでしょうね。
That must mean Canus is completely alone out here in the fairy world he calls home.
見えたやつは
Though he may...
い
Oh,
わゆる寂しがり屋
excuse me.
というやつじゃからな。
I remembered my conversation with Titania just a little while ago, thinking about how alone Canus always feels. The expression on my face darkens. ... ...
会場を出て右方向、螺旋に続く階段を登った先です。
Huh?
カヌスの居場所ですよ。僕はそういった気配をたどるのが得意なので、気になるなら好きにしてみればよいかと。
Thank you.
女王陛下もあなたを買っているようですからね。他のみんなには僕からそれと時間的にそろそろ足元が滑りますから、せいぜい転ばぬようにしてください。
While on the path that Vania directed me along, whoa! The air grew colder and colder and tiny snowflakes began to fall. My body shivered at the cold that brushed along my cheeks. My feet crunched along the road, now covered in snow, in a matter of moments. I came out to a clearing. There was a breeze. It looks like it'll be a super cold breeze, too. Within the gentle whirl of snowfall, I see the back of a large figure. Canus!
マスター。
Canus, I'm glad I found you. In a sigh of relief, I walked toward Canus.
なぜこんなところに。妖精の宴に参加できる機会など上妙の者にはめったにないというのに。
Well, what about you? Why are you here?
我は特にこれといった理由はない。強いて言えば少し休んでいただけだ。
I see. I got a little tired too. Can I rest here with you?
そちらがいいのならば我は構わぬ。もっともその間気の利いた話など我が用意できる保証はないが。
It seemed like you were a bit down ever since the banquet started.
そうか。
Yeah. Canus looked down as he spoke. His mood seemed to mirror the scenery we found ourselves gazing at. What can you see from there?
見てみるか。この世界そのものが見えるぞ。
Did he mean something philosophical by that? I felt like Canus laughed a bit just now. I didn't understand what he meant, but looked out carefully. I saw in the darkness and dancing snow.
これが妖精界メディオの全容だ。
What? All this time I thought we were deep in a forest abundant with trees. I was wrong. What I thought was a forest, it was just a bunch of branches and leaves. Medio's all a single tree?
その通りだ。妖精界メディオとはたった一本の世界樹からなる世界。道も壁もすべてこの世界樹の一部。 あなたが落ちた大爆風すらこの世界中のほんの一端。樹上を流れる一滴。まあ言い過ぎかもしれないがそういった一面に過ぎないんだ。
In other words, what I saw as trees were sprouts. Roads were just branches. What a scale. It's just so big. Of course I am. I never imagined a tree could be an entire world. Probably surprised by my reaction, Canus, as if looking at something pleasant, smiled, or at least I think he did.
ここは樹間。山で言えば山頂に近い部分だ。そしてこの妖精界で我が一番好きな場所だ。
So, this is your favorite place. Coming back to my senses a bit more, I look where Canus was looking. I could see something that seemed like lights blinking in the distance. Atop the branches at the crown of the trunk, those spots must be where fairies and Medio reside. Maybe it was because of its wintry look, but Yggdrasil, Yggdrasil, covered in snow and light was, and it's a big tree, large like the world, and it's noticeable in all the fairy world. Beautiful. I felt this feeling so often ever since I arrived here, but this moment now was truly the most beautiful moment of them all. It kind of makes me happy that you've shown me your favorite spot. I still don't know all about you. Maybe it's just me feeling it, but I'm happy.
そんなことはない。我もこの景色をあなたが見てくれて嬉しいと思う。我が美しいと思うものを共感し褒めてくれるのは嬉しい。だからそうだな。偶然だとしても今ここにあなたがいてくれて我は嬉しいのだ。
Canus? Vanilla mentioned this, but I heard you never go near any celebrations and that others are afraid of you. That you're a bad omen that governs death.
ああ、話を聞いたのか。だが気にするようなことではない。我が恐れられるのは自然なこと。死を恐れるというのは生物ならば誰もが持つ本能。メディオの妖精とて例外ではない。いや、むしろ不老不死である分、より得体の知れぬ恐怖が増すのかもしれん。であれば、そんなものを与え回る象徴である存在の我を恐れるのは至極当然であろうさ。納得がいかぬという顔だな。
No, I'm sad. Yeah, I mean, Canus was just born into that role. It's not like he became the symbol of death because he wanted to.
良いのだ。我にはあなたやアンシャンテの仲間がいる。我にはもったいないほどの理解者たちが。
But as I tried to contend with his words, Canus gently grabs my wrist.
それよりも、せっかくここに来たのだ。一つ。我の秘
Yay,
密
I
を
love
教えよう。
secrets. Huh? Canus leans in right to my face. Oh, a moment with the headless armored man. Or, yeah. Who knows if he's a man or not, though. I mean, I'm just going by the name, but in the gendered pronoun. His helmet vanishes into thin air. He pulls in my hand, and there was nothing but empty space.
わかるだろうか。
But there was a gentle warmth there. I could feel it faintly in my palm. That's so strange. It feels warm.
驚くかもしれないが、我は首なし騎士と言われるが、実際には見えないだけで、我が首はここに存在
Oh,
し
he
ている。
has one? Oh, let me see that face, Canus!
目も耳も鼻も見ることも触れることも決してかなわぬ存在だが、確かにここにあるのだ。
Wow, I never knew that. Trying to prove what he said was true, Canus gently guides my fingertips. Huh? So that must mean, although I can't physically feel it, I'm touching Canus's face? I almost feel like I'm doing something wrong here. Canus, this is a little embarrassing, so...
まだだ。もう少しこのままで。
Aww. Is he blushing? Is it the heat of the moment that's that light shining from his neck? Canus wanted to stay close. ...
顔が見えなくて助かった。
I'm sure. I can tell by the light that your face is doing some blush action. Huh?
あなたからは見えないだろうが、今の我の頬はここからの景色をあなたと共に見られた喜びで緩んでいる。とてもではないが、見せられる顔ではない。
Even though you can see mine, Kana speaks with joy in his words as I muttered about it not being fair.
すべては伝わらぬだろうが、言わせてほしい。感謝する、マスター。我の孤独に不服を抱いてくれて。ああ、しかし不便なものだな。言葉で伝えるしかないというのは、実際に抱いている感情の半分も伝わらない。
No, it's okay. I understand them. It makes me really happy to hear you need Enchanté and me. I think that's the best compliment you could ever give the cafe, to be honest. So I hope you keep coming by Canus Espada. We already know who he is.
それは我のセリフだと思うかな。今後ともよろしく頼む、マスターよ。
I looked toward the face I could not see, and we shared a chuckle together. A gentle laugh that could contest the joy of the banquet being held far away. Yay, chapter 5. So we're going to stop for right now. Go back to the screen right here. We already know that may be about Mr. Karu. But I would like to thank you all, as always, for tuning in to the Cafe Barista Enchanté playthrough. Hopefully I can get this done definitely by the end of July. It's just a whole lot of extra adulting that I have to do. So hopefully you all don't have to do that as hard as I do. And you can take a moment to breathe. Just know that you have to take a day for yourself sometimes. And as always, much love, much peace, and catch you on the flip side.